I have no idea what the heck is wrong with this thing, but... Alright. Think I might have fixed the issue. So, welcome John Cena. Please don't wrestle my rocket into submission. My job is to do that to gravity. So, before I take off, I'm just going to bring up the orbit info so I know where the heck I am. And I'm playing this in 10 times scale, so that's why this thing is a little bit expansive. Not to mention the fact that I'm using cryogenic fuels here. So, let's get ready for liftoff. And... uh-oh. What the heck is going on here? Did I forget to download Kerbal Joint Reinforcement again? This is actually hilarious. Okay. I don't know how something was going at twice the speed of sound, but let's try that again. Because that makes no sense at all. I was using some pretty dang heavy decouplers there. I'm going to put some struts on. That might help. Oh well. Scott Manley forgot something even worse than that, so... okay. I think it might be these cryo tanks. Probably don't have very good structural properties, so... I should have... super struts. Let's start from here and go to here. Alright, that should stabilize that. And now that stabilized that. And I'll put one more down here. Alright. Gratian System Explorer, Mark II. Because that's a bit ridiculous. Now those struts are twice as big as normal struts. Something I think... one of my mods, anyway, has that. I think it might be carbon... oh, real scale boosters, probably. Because the normal struts just don't cut it. Oh yeah, I need to actually watch an ad to see my own stream. It's like, I'm trying to check the technical quality and make sure everything's working. And then... ad. I don't even know how to configure that. I think that's on Twitch's side. Alright. I think it's the cryogenic tanks that's the issue, but... I'm going to ditch my fairing after the first stage because it's light enough. SAS. Now let's see what happens. Well, if anything's tipping, it's not that. At least it's a different set of issues now. Looks like they're still trying to fuck around. Not 100% sure why, though. Like, it's just a straight up rocket, and then I guess it's because I have to use a lot of small tanks, but I don't have anything bigger researched yet. It's one of the issues, I guess, with this kind of technology. Oh well. Now, I'm going to go straight up this time until I get fairly fast, because I don't trust this rocket under aerodynamic stress. Let's see if I can slowly roll over, because I want to launch into prograde, so 90 degrees. These engines here are from real scale boosters. They're the upgraded F1s that would be used on the Pirios booster for the Space Launch System. They're based on the Saturn V's main engines, just with modern technology, so they're somewhat more powerful and efficient. Now, my launch thrust weight was a little bit low, so I need to wait before doing my gravity turn. But I'm in a condition now. Yeah, it's KSP. Yeah, the rocket's pretty big. I'm probably gonna, like, I don't think it's my graphics card, because I think it's the game itself. Because my graphics card, I only bought it last year, and it was near top of the line then. Oh well, it's not running too slow now. Once I get on my gravity turn, I'll speed it up using physics warp anyway. I just want to get the very critical part near launch straightened away. Otherwise, God only knows what'll happen. Alright, prograde hold and time warp. I said prograde hold. Come on, I got an Octo 2 core here, it shouldn't be that bad. Alright, yeah, I think we're on a pretty decent ascent path now. Assuming this thing can get past transonic without running into too much trouble. Yep. Transonic and max Q probably about now. So if something's going to blow up, it'll happen now. No, looks like we're clear. We're climbing pretty fast now, so we're going to be outside most of the atmosphere really fast. Yeah, what happens is that my rockets tend to go faster the farther away from the surface they get, as they lose mass, right? You just see what it was like when I sent a manned mission to Neven. I had a 20,000 ton rocket, and the thing was going at about 2 frames per second. This is Galileo's planet pack, by the way. So this is a different planet, Gale, that has a giant volcano right next to the space center. Alright. Yep, 33. Yep, I'll be fine getting rid of this fairing along with the stage separation, because I'm high enough up that I don't need to worry about the atmosphere too much. I'll probably be at about 70 kilometers, maybe higher, when this thing finally gives up the ghost. Alright, about 20 seconds to staging. 15 seconds to staging. 10. Alright, I'm going to slow this down a bit because I'm going to want to decouple everything, and I don't want to do that at hyperspeed. 1, and first stage burnout. What the heck? Do I somehow have no electricity here? How the heck did I run out of electricity? My batteries started empty. Okay. Problem, I'm gonna fix that, because I'm not reverting because of something that stupid. Second stage ignition. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep this reactor on fairly low. 5%. I actually have no idea how I managed to run out of electricity that way. Unless one of these parts is drawing a... Wow, what here... Oh, I know what it is. It's the stupid cooling on these tanks. Okay, I know what's going on. I didn't think these tanks would activate on the pad, so to speak, right? So... 3.46. Yeah, like there's no point, it shouldn't be using cooling for this stage. So I'm just going to leave infinite electricity on until I detach this second stage. Then I'll be fine. Because it's just that those tanks are so large that they're eating a lot of electricity. It's like on the Saturn V. They'd have cooling for the third stage, but not for the first stage, because the thing is going to burn out in 5 minutes. Alright, let's speed her back up. Orbit. Yeah, okay, I should be fine. I might need to use a little bit of the third stage in order to make orbit, but that's not a problem. I put extra, plus the ion drive. Oh, nice. These are giving me 100 solar power units per second. That's convenient. I'm gonna need those giant solar panels for when I'm out on Gratian. Because that's about where Drace is in the normal system. Pretty far out. These are the engines from Nerdia's cryogenic engines pack. So they're somewhat more efficient than what you normally see. However, they're more expensive. And their thrust to weight is a little bit worse. But when you're launching massive engines into orbit like this... Alright. Okay, I'll be slightly past apoapsis when I reach orbit. That's not a problem. I'll just tilt up a tiny bit. Alright. Second stage burnout. And third stage ignition. Whoa, that was loud. Alright, now we're approaching circularization. This engine here is from Space Y. Alright, positive parapsis. Alright, our parapsis now clears the atmosphere. Alright, and we have attained orbit. Quick save in case something goes kablooey. And turn off the electricity cheat, because I'm pretty sure I have more than enough to keep that stage cool. Yes, I do. Alright. Now, let's see what kind of trajectory I need to get this thing to Gratian. That should be over here somewhere. Here we go. Gratian is basically a larger version of Mars. Carbon dioxide atmosphere, freezing cold, but it has more than half a G, I believe. So let's use a pork chop plot. Nice, I'm right at the launch window. Yeah, I'll just get MechJeb to execute this, because I really don't need to baby it along at this stage. Yeah. Alright, this thing does not turn very fast, but it's designed to do most of the turning without this third stage, so this will be basically completely burned out by the time we get to Gratian anyway. Once I do my ejection burn, I'll use the ion drives for course correction. I actually managed to guess the launch window to within 2 days. I'm surprised. Just from looking in the planet thing. And, oh, I know what's wrong. I forgot the radiators. And dang it, I lost a little bit of... I've lost a small amount of my hydrogen fuel because I'm on the night side of the planet, where there is no sun. But that's fine. I'll just have to use the ion drive to make a course correction at the end of my burn. No big deal, really. Now I'm going to need these radiators. Alright, and our trans-Gratian injection burn is going. Yeah, there's a lot more graphics load here. If that's what you mean by potato. Let's go to the vessel issue. Yeah, like this rocket here is pretty big. Although it seems fine to me now. I don't see anything wrong with anything at this point. Yeah, Galileo's textures are actually higher resolution than normal to begin with. They're like 8K to start. But, you know, when you scale everything by 10, then you need 100 times more texture pixels to have the same resolution because it's stretched both ways. So, there's only so much you can do. And congratulations, you somehow managed to run out of electricity with... it doesn't matter, I got these giant solar panels. No, I didn't do that, Sigma Dimensions. Yeah, that's a mod that lets me expand the solar system. They don't actually look that bad when you're far away, it's just I'm really close. Like, see, everything looks fine from here. It's just, when I'm 200 kilometers up on a 10 scale game, it's like being 20 kilometers up on the normal scale. And normally at 20 kilometers, you're in the height map. No, a realism overhaul is not 1.21 compatible. Yeah. See, I'm using Smurf because otherwise, yeah, I could get stuff into orbit, but I need like an 1,000-ton rocket to launch a Mark 1 pod. Alright. I'm a hair short. So, I'm going to wait till I get some daylight, which shouldn't be long. Come on. Abort that. Now. Yeah, you'll see the textures don't actually look that bad. I'm just going to wait till I get some sun. There we go. Now, let's get rid of this shit. How much power am I getting? Plenty. Alright. Yep. Go ion drive. Oh. Whoa. Nope, nope, nope. Heck. SAS. Come on. Now these things should be getting close to full power. Yep. Nice, thanks. So yeah, right now I'm using, these are ion engines from Nerdia's mod, Near Future. They're basically one level above the ones in stock. So they have better specific impulse, a little bit less thrust, and they take a shit ton of energy. And that's why I can only run them at about 30%. Well, 70% or whatever. Because these gigantic solar panels only give me a little bit of power. And yeah, I'm going to leave this reactor off for now because it's not going to produce enough to make a difference. So let's see where this thing is actually going, and then I'll speed it up once I can track my orbit. Okay, yeah, so I'm almost there now. So, fuck physics. Yep, I'm just gonna go to prograde hold. Oh, I got a Gratian encounter. Oh, dang it. Ah, friggin' throttle control. Nope, nope, nope. Shut down. Shut down. Thank you. Okay. So, if this thing lets me get back into the zoom without blowing up on me, yep. So I'm going to pass within Gratian's sphere of influence, but I want to get a bit closer to the planet, so I'll turn on the science, make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, I was missing something. Nice. Oh, come on. It has to use this to transmit it. Lay giant D-Magic science dish. And this is the small version. Oh well. I got this thing too, so. Now, this is Gale here. The Kerbin analog. It doesn't look bad once you put some distance. They even got Aurora on the polar caps. Then it has 2 moons. I think that's SETI over there, and then Iota should be around here somewhere. Must be on the other side of Gale. Yep, there it is back there. So Gale's sphere of influence is about 900,000 kilometers wide. So it'll take a little bit longer in order to actually escape here. Alright, we are now in solar orbit. So, now I can make my correction burn. So, maneuver planner. Fine-tune closest approach. Yeah, I'll just pick 200 kilometers. And I need 70 meters per second. So I don't want to execute this manually. Not yet. First thing I want to do is make sure this is pointed at the sun. Alright, now let's warp ahead until I get to 118 days. Good thing I got the time control mod so I can fuck with the time warp. And so I can make things so that my dish doesn't block the sun. That's one of the annoying things that can happen sometimes. Alright. $20 days. 15 days. We're getting close. Now, we're only getting half as much power up here, but that's because we're so much farther away. How can the solar array be blocked by itself? Come on. Now, I'm going to remove the node and create it again, just because, yep. Sometimes errors mean that I get a slight shift in what time I'm actually supposed to implement this when I do big warps like that, so it's good to confirm just to make sure I'm not burning at the wrong time. Alright. Alright, I'm there now. Yeah, I'll just get MechJeb to execute it. And I'm gonna fire up my nuclear reactor. Because I'm probably gonna run out of electricity before I can do anything here. And this dang signals intelligence is blocking my solar panel. It does get somewhat annoying when that happens, but there's not really much I can do at this stage. Now it'll just shut off most of my engines, and... Is this reactor even working yet? No, okay, it's not at full power yet. Oh well, full speed ahead. I shall get progressively more thrust as this thing... Yep, okay, it's trying to start a second engine. Ah, it did it. Now I'm running 2 engines. Alright. Now let's turn this thing so that gosh dang reactor... Sorry, the solar panels aren't friggin' everything up. And now let's stop the reactor so I don't waste all my time. Now how close am I? Oh, that's a pretty solid... I'm actually going to hit the planet. That's actually surprisingly useful. Nothing worse than missing it. I can deal with hitting the planet. So, yep, I'm just going to point prograde along my orbit. So now this, I should never have that stupid problem while I approach Gratian. So we're just passing Tulumo's orbit now. And notice that going past Gratian will basically give me enough power that if I wanted to, I could get to Otho, the Jupiter analog. Oh, well, let's see if I can spot Gratian. I think that's it there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is Gratian there. Yep, because that's the moon, Geminis. You can see orbiting it right now. And we're almost within its sphere of influence. There we go. We have now reached Gratian. Now let's just transmit everything I can get. Now, I want my parapsis to be about 1,000 kilometers. And now, where's my reactor? Now, I'm not quite sure how much it'll take for me to circularize. Let's check. Ah, 4 grand. Yikes. Not much I could do about that, though. So, the best thing to do... See if I can... I'll focus view on the moon for now. Nah, nope, nope. Oh well, let's approach the planet a bit, because we're still a little bit far out. Uh-oh. Yep, something just hiccuped. Oh well. Yeah, the planets look much better when you're a little bit farther away. Alright, and at least one of my solar panels is watching. So. It'll take me a while. Where's the parapsis? 2 hours 50. Yeah, I'm gonna warp to about here. Okay, I already got that. Yep. So, I'm burning now because I'm only planning to get captured into a highly eccentric orbit to start. Then I want a plane change to 90-degree inclination. And then when I'm finished that, I'll be able to slowly circularize down my orbit. Because it's one of the pitfalls to having an ion drive, right? Is I can't just burn everything. Alright. Let's speed this up a bit. Oh yeah, by the way, I got some videos on YouTube if either of you guys are interested, anyone watching. Basically just previous streams. You could probably watch them here too, actually. So nice looking though, you got the planet and the moon. Looks like we got some polar caps. Now, what's the... While this is burning, what's the stats on this planet? Air and worlds. 5,500 kilometers radius with 3/4 of a G and then half an atmosphere. $157K, yikes, that's over 100 degrees below zero. And it has a very slow rotation period. Yeah, this has about, I think, half the mass of the Earth. So this is about 5 times bigger than Mars. Gratian is here, and you can see the substantial atmosphere rimming the planet. Yep. Alright, now I can sustain this burn. And I'm going at 6 times normal speed. Perhaps this is going to be a little low, but I shouldn't hit the atmosphere. That's all I'm really worried about at this stage. Because no one in their right mind wants to hit the atmosphere. Well, if I just grazed it, like 60, just like a couple kilometers underneath the top, I'd probably be fine, but... And if I didn't have this gosh dang Signin dish, it would have been better too, but I needed it for the contract. What else do I need? Soil moisture stand, orbital telescope, and then probably more Signins and more recon. Can I use soil moisture scan yet? Nope, I'm too high. Oh, well, I'd say at either 5,000 kilometers or somewhere close to it, I'll probably end up in low orbit. Alright, I can go to 18% throttle, I think. Yep. My eccentricity is slowly dropping, so... I should be able to burn enough to get captured. I'll probably pass about 500 kilometers above the surface when I finally do reach Parapsis here. That's why the thing's a little bit potato-ish, because hyperwarp is basically stretching the speed as much as it can while still maintaining the right physics accuracy, so that's why everything is slow. Alright. Let's transmit literally everything. No, I want to get northern hemisphere data. So that'll be on the next half of my orbit, basically. Oh, here's another biome. Nice. Ah, here we go. Northern hemisphere. I just crossed the equator. So now I have one more recon left to get, and that would be this one. Oh, and now I just got to achieve orbit. So I've got to keep burning, basically. Whoa! Okay, I thought I could do decimals there. I could not do decimals. Funny. No decimals for me. Yeah, now things start to look a little pixelated because of how close I am. Like, this is the equivalent of only 100 kilometers above the actual small planet, right? I'm not too worried. My eccentricity's down to 1.3. So I'll definitely capture into an orbit before I escape again. I'll probably have to do some maneuvers higher up, but I want to get Geminis, the moon, too, so I just gotta capture myself into an orbit low enough to use the ScanSat, and then I can move outwards from there. I want to send Kerbals here on the next launch window, but the key with this is just that I want to get enough science from the system first so that I can get some better technology. Because this is such a large planet that trying to land on it and then come back, I'm probably going to need to have a refueling depot or have something going on anyway that's more complicated than just the random stuff I can find. Oh nice, I can use both my solar panels now. Alright, 23 is about as much as... Well, 22 is break even, but... And I pass Parapsis. Dang. Yeah, I'm gonna shut that maneuver node down, because that's not really important. I should have packed more nuclear reactors. Oh, well, this turbo power should be doing fine. Yep. Still got over a year left on the core at any rate. Although I'm basically at the edge of my signal range, even with a 1 terameter class antenna. Oh, hey Wolf, how's it going, man? I'm just trying to capture into orbit a Gratian here with my exploration probe, with ion engines and giant solar panels and nuclear reactor and D-Magic signals intelligence dish, which is kind of annoying, but it is pretty cool. If there are aliens on Gratian sending out radio signals, this will find them. I'm currently just using hyperwarp so I can run through my capture burns. How much time do I have before escape anyway? I'm getting close to capture. Oh yeah, I'll capture before 10,000 kilometers probably, then I'll just have to circularize up there. My plan is to just close a distant orbit, probably at a little farther out than Geminus here. Then I'll flip my plane to a polar orbit and then circularize at about 3,000 or 4,000 kilometers to use the ScanSat. I can't do everything at once because my ion engines are a little short of power. Basically, I put more on than I have electricity for, because I actually did have electricity for all of these back in at Gale, but out here in the middle of nowhere, even my giant solar panels aren't that effective. But the key is this eccentricity number. When this drops below 1, I'll have closed an orbit. So I'm basically just going to keep burning retrograde until I do that. This is in 10 times scale, by the way, so that's why my orbital velocity is all the way up here. Gratian... Oh, nice. Another biome. Gratian, if you look at it, this is basically Mars on steroids. It has 3/4 Earth's gravity and about half its mass, with a substantial atmosphere, half of Earth atmospheric pressure, and the atmosphere is mostly carbon dioxide, so it's actually more than half the density because it's a heavier air, right? It's also extremely cold, over 100 degrees below freezing. No liquid water on this. Although it probably has a bunch of ice. Alright, we're getting close to capture. Very close to capture. Yep. Next time, I'm going to put some larger nuclear reactors. Much larger nuclear reactors. I still got a lot of Delta V left, though. I have almost enough to land and take off again if I had enough electricity and engine power. Okay, about 10 seconds to closing an orbit. Okay, we've technically closed an orbit. Now we just gotta wait till the apoapsis gets within the sphere of influence. And I want a somewhat shorter orbital period. Alright. Let's shut this down. And there's a night side. And nice, I completed the D-Magic contract. So now what I want to do is change inclination to 90 degrees. And I'm going to do it after apoapsis. 15 day, 23 hours, 40 minutes. Only 100 meters per second. Nice. Alright, let's see if I can do this now. So I'll just let MechJeb warp me to the node, and then I'll look after everything once it gets there. We're going to pass quite far out. About as far as SETI is from Gale. Well, the good news is I got both solar panels going. The bad news is I'm probably going to have to shut down this nuclear reactor. Now, I'll just turn down the power setting after I make this burn here. I'll leave it running at like 1%, just so that I'll always have a trickle of electricity. Otherwise, I'll end up running out of energy. I still got plenty of uranium, though, because I haven't used it much. I didn't have it on the way out. Alright. Almost there. And ignition. Now, since MechJeb is burning it, what'll happen when I run out of electricity is it'll basically just shut down some of the engines. I think I can run 2 engines with this setup. Yep, 2 engines. That's fine. I'm going at 4 times speed, so it's the same speed I was going anyway. And what is this for? Oh, suborbital space flight. That's because my parapsis goes negative when I'm changing planes. E4... Whoa. Close enough. Alright, change inclination now. I'm just going to change my parapsis now to make it a little bit higher. That'll be for the scan set. And I'm going to make it a little bit high, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to warp to somewhat before parapsis and then begin my circularization maneuvers. 16 days, 0 hours, 21 minutes. Yep. Oh, wrong way. Shit. Slash. Whoa, something's glitchy. Alright. Oh, nice. I get poll data. What does this look like, anyway? Oh, nice. It's an 8-bit planet. Oh. Yep, so my apoapsis is dropping, so I'm just gonna turn on the hyperwarp now. I'm basically gonna burn this until I get a bit past parapsis or about 2 parapsis, depending on how much I actually lower my orbit. I should lower my orbit by quite a bit, but I don't think I'll get all the way to circularizing on this pass. Now, what's the critical altitude for this radar scanner anyway? Okay, I'm at ideal for that. What about the multispectral? Suboptimal, okay, so yep, I'm fine. Let's see what I'm getting on ScanSat. Well, I'm making some progress. I think I actually need to be a little bit higher. Oh well. Notice that I'm down to only a 2-day orbital period now, so I'm not going to have any trouble with that at any rate. And then that there is from my first pass when I was going in more of an equatorial orbit. I wonder if I could pay Galileo to make me like a huge ass texture for this. Or do some kind of Photoshop work to interpolate everything. That might work too. Oh well. Yep. I'll probably burn this till about 5 minutes past parapsis. Then I will warp to apoapsis again, raise my parapsis probably to about 2,000 kilometers because I want to be as high as I can get while still using all my ScanSat instruments. And then I'll be able to probably circularize it on the next orbit if I can't do it now. I got plenty of fuel anyway. That's the good part. The issue is more that I can only spend my delta V so fast. Well, I could have done this with a chemical engine, but I would have needed a huge rocket for it. I've spent about 3,000 meters per second of delta V already. Now, it's not quite as efficient using ion engines as it would be to be burning using chemical. But that's just because I can't use the Oberth effect as effectively. It's worth it though when you consider the efficiency differences. Although it'll be weird because the next generation ion engines need even more electricity. So I'm going to need bigger nuclear reactors. Although I'll unlock those on the next tech tree. I think USI is the mod that has those. They have 1.25 meter nuclear reactors. And I think they give a couple hundred EC per second while they're running. Basically, I'll use the solar panels or maybe an advanced RTG when I get it, just for kind of hibernation, and then activate the nuclear reactors when I need them to power the engines. Alright, I'll give it till I reach about 2,000 kilometers in altitude. Then I'll shut it down. Okay, this is ideal for radar, but it's still suboptimal for this. I want to see what the altitude limit for this is. I'm thinking it's 2,000. No, it's not 2,000. Alright. So, I'm just going to see what the limit is for this, because that's how high I want to set my parapsis. Okay, it's about 3,000 kilometers for multispectral. Alright. So, change parapsis 2,500 at the next apoapse, and go. Let's see how much luck I have with this now. Oh, I'm still in time warp, dang it. Now, where is Gratian? Ah, there we go. Whoa, that is one big-ass polar cap. See how much lower my orbit is now? That's the convenient part about all this. Now I'm almost there. Alright. As soon as this starts burning, I'll activate hyperwarp. Alright, almost there. 30 meters per second, 25, 20. Alright. 6, 5, 4. Whoa, shit. No. Alright. Now, 4 minutes 55. I want to be a little more than 4 minutes behind. Yep. Look at that South Polar Cap. Retrograde. And nice, all those are working. Alright, now let's circularize this thing. Come on, you can do it, little rocket. You can do it. Land. Yep, perhaps this isn't changing too much. I'm approaching it, and I burn my orbit down a fair bit already. Nice. And nothing's blown up yet. It is a Christmas miracle. I'll probably need to slow down to about 6,000 meters per second, if not a little less. What does a biomap look like? Since I've only made a couple passes over the planet, there's a good chance there's a biome around here that I've missed. So I might have to drop into a lower orbit in order to find it. Well, I'll have a better idea once I complete my biome scan. Well, I'm making some progress anyway. My orbital period's down under 6 hours. How are these radiators doing? Oh, they're good. And my xenon tank. Still mostly full. I probably didn't need to bring as much fuel as I did. Alright, that's enough for now. Time to warp to the next orbit. Shit, I skipped it. Damn it. Oh well, no rush. Alright. And let's go again. Sorry if it's a bit boring for you guys watching this, but this is something I kind of have to do. Like, in all honesty, I'm not going to be able to get into a decent orbit here unless I circularize at some point. And it's a trade-off I have to make between delta V and time. How's my electricity doing? Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, look, there's a lot of craters on this planet. This makes sense, because the gas giants are probably throwing things into it all the time. Well, I'm making a fair bit of progress anyway, speed-wise. I'm slowing down at about 2 or 3 delta V per real-time second here. Oh well. If I get enough Twitch followers, I'll have a reason to buy a better computer. Let's see. Yeah, I'll probably need 1 or 2 more burns after this. The good thing is as I burn away Xenon, I'm actually accelerating faster over time. I'm gonna go to 24%. Because, yeah, I got enough reserve electricity. This is kind of like how Dawn approached Ceres. It did like a kind of spiral trajectory where it thrusted retrograde kind of the whole time. Yep. I'm just gonna burn off my electricity. And now I'm gonna warp to the next burn. Let's start it about here. And let's go. If I can get my parapsis under about 3,000 kilometers, I'll probably be fine. Dang it, I'm not even going to make it to parapsis. When I need to start a little closer. Yeah, that's better. And it's happening again. I'm going to wait till I get to within 3 minutes of the parapsis, and then I'll fire up the engines again. I'm going to wait till I'm 1 minute from parapsis, because I'm almost circularized now. Alright, that's circular enough. Now, time to turn down the turbo power. Too much. I want 5%. Alright. Now I want to warp until I finish my scan sat. Well, I'll finish everything except for the high resolution scanner fairly quickly. Looks like I already got all the biomes too. Oh no, those are ridges biome. Trying to find the ridges biome. I already got Highlands. Oh, there we go. There, that's all the science I need. Now let's go until I finish this multispectral. Not like, you know, the whatever the frick you call it. Actually, I think I need a higher orbit for that. Yeah, I probably do. It'll make it easier to get to Geminus anyway. Well, that's done. That's done. Oh, whoops. Oh, here's a problem. I'm going to try and get up to about 4,000 kilometers here. That way I'll be able to finish off the last bit of this radar. This is a synthetic aperture, the narrow radar, so it's higher resolution, but I need to be in a higher orbit for it to work, basically. Yeah, I don't need that. When in doubt, keep burning. And 3.4 megameters. Well, we're getting there anyway. Alright, I'll just try and get to about 4,000. And then that should give me a bit more luck. Oh well. I should be able to raise my parapsis fairly effectively now. With the alt. Yeah, I don't think I said more luck, but colloquially, with any luck, this'll work. Because I need to finish my scan set of Gratian here. Then I'm going to try and do a pole-to-pole alley-oop type transfer to Geminis. Which means I'll probably just burn till my apo-apps meets it and then try and get it to work. Oh, thanks. If you have any specific questions that you want to ask, then just fire something away and I'll try and type in something in chat while I'm doing these long, boring ion engine burns here. Oh, that's a nice view there. Look at that moon. I hope that's not a space station. Well, the problem with ions here is that they use a lot of electricity. So I'm only actually running them at about 25%. Back in closer to the sun, I can run them at full power, but up this far it doesn't work. It's just one of the issues. Huh. There's so much moonlight being reflected from Geminis there that you can see the dark side of Gratian. Yep. I'm just trying to get to a higher orbit so that this little... Where is it to? Wow, this looks much blockier than it should. Oh well. This radar scanner here will have a wider field of view, so it'll do a better job of collecting the data I need. So I'm almost circularized now. I just want to get this number to match this number. Oh yeah. Eccentricity is basically just how different your closest and farthest approach is, and there's like a mathematical formula for it. So an eccentricity of 0 is a perfectly circular orbit, while an eccentricity of 1 is basically parabolic, which means that you'll never come back. The eccentricity of 1 is kind of the critical condition between escaping and falling back, so at like 0.99 you'll eventually come back, while at 1.01 you're going to go flying away into interplanetary space. So, I think now I'll have better luck with this. Let's see how the ScanSat works now. Oh yeah, it's making some progress. Yep, I almost got it. I'd say Yup. There's still a few holes left. I refuse to allow holes. Oh well. Whatever I got now, this is fine, because I'm going to need to start my burn for Geminis. So, I'm going to warp here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick my apoapsis up over multiple orbits until I'm high enough, basically, to intersect with the moon here. And let's send back the science data. Can I get this pointed more directly at the sun? Yes. Alright. Let's speed things up a bit. So, what I'm doing now is, since normally if I wanted to get from this planet to this planet, the easiest way to do it is have an orbit that's highly eccentric. So one end is close to this planet, and then the other end is close to the orbit of this planet. And then you time it so that this planet, well, this moon, will hit here, this point, right when your orbit intersects with it. And then you'll encounter it. But since I got an ion drive, what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need most likely to raise my apoapsis to match this orbit, and then I'm going to need to change my parapsis to change the timing so that it'll hit the moon at the right time. You'll see what'll happen in a little bit. Now, how eccentric is this thing? Yeah, it's not too bad. And I'm doing a polar transfer too, so it's a little bit harder. But that's because you need a polar orbit for your scanning. That way you notice how, as the planet rotates underneath me, I'll cover everything. How's my electricity? That's fine. And prograde is fine. And I'm slowly gaining height. This is about as fast as I can warp it. I'm not going to use the hyperwarp because even though it is slightly faster, the problem is with the hyperwarp is that it makes the game go at like 1 frame per second, and that's just not a good idea. It's also... Oh, are you... What the... Wow. To get to here, my antenna is sending the signal all the way to this asteroid tug here, and then sending it back across to here. Which is kind of hilarious because, for one thing, this route is closer than this one, and then for the other thing, these both have the same antenna. But, oh well. I didn't invent the pathfinding algorithm they're using. So the reason I'm burning now is because I'm thinking that by the time I get this apoapsis to encounter here, chances are it'll take more than one orbit for me to do it. So then this moon will have made it farther around. Now, how big is this moon? Let me take a look at it. 2,300 kilometers in radius and 0.22 Gs. Wow, this thing is bigger than Earth's moon. Yeah, it's about twice as big as Earth's moon, mass-wise. Yeah, it's almost a double planet. So I'm playing this in 10 times scale too. So the issue with that is everything here is 10 times bigger than it would be in the normal game. So I'm 4,000 kilometers instead of 400. I'm going 5,000 meters per second instead of about 1,500. Yeah. So it makes, basically you need to have everything bigger. But I've been spending way too much time playing this game. So at this point, I'm going for a little bit more realism. Yeah, this is the antenna I was talking about. It's a big-ass antenna because even then it can only barely reach home from here. I'm probably going to need to put a couple relay satellites in solar orbit just to keep sending data around. I also wish I could retract this annoying thing, but it doesn't let me do it. Yep, I don't need this to transmit. So... where am I in my orbit now? Am I that... Yep. I'm gonna stop. Whoops. Yep. I'll just burn until I run out of electricity. Or almost run out of electricity. Yep, stop that. And now I'm going to warp to the next orbit. So notice that the moon is slowly catching up as I go around. So I'm thinking that either on this orbit or the one after this orbit, I'll be able to have an encounter. Or I'll at least get my apoaps up high enough for it to do something. Yep. This is about... now, how well aimed are these? Okay, these are perfectly aimed. I'm only getting 12 EC per second out of these. These give me 100 at Gale, which is the equivalent of Kerbin. Oh well. 4 times speed. Here we go. Yeah, if you have a question about anything specific, there's also the forums, if just in case. I figure you're on the forums, but if you're not, there's a lot of information there. Now, let's see. You can kind of see some of the other planets all the way in that way at certain angles. Let's see, if I coronagraph the sun, can I see them any better? No, I guess it's not picking it up. I can see the sun through my solar panels. That's funny, actually. Oh well. Yeah, notice that my apoapsis is getting higher, my orbital period's getting longer, and the eccentricity's going up. So, for now, let's focus view on the main planet. So you can see this slowly stretching out as I pick up more speed. Yep. Oh, I am burning now. I'm picking up speed. It's just these are ion engines, so the burn is kind of more like a, I don't know, ionic dubstep whistle or something. Yeah. If I wanted to do this with normal chemical rockets, like the Terrier or the Poodle or something, well, one Terrier gives me more thrust than all these engines put together could, but I would need to have a fuel tank the size of the satellite dish in order to be able to have enough fuel for everything. So, am I getting anywhere close? I'm getting there. It just takes some time. Oh, yeah, you don't actually need to do an escape burn to get to the moon. What you actually do is the Hoffman transfer. So, essentially, an escape burn would be burning so much that this trajectory will go all the way off into the middle of nowhere, right? Then, I need to hope that I hit the moon on the way out, otherwise I'm gone. What I'm doing is I'm just setting my orbit so that I'll run into the moon's orbit essentially once per orbit. So I want this apoapsis number to be close to 108 million here. Then what'll happen is that every time I swing around on my orbit, I'll end up somewhere around here, and then once the moon comes by, then I'll get picked up. So what I can do is then when I'm sitting out here, I can set this as a target, and then I can change my parapsis to change my orbital period until on the next orbit I run into the moon. The escape burn is what the kind of what the Apollo astronauts did. For one thing, it got them to the moon a little bit faster, and there's really only a very small difference between the Hoffman transfer when you're that far out and escaping completely, because your orbit is so eccentric. So what the Apollo astronauts did was they burned so that they fell just short of escaping normally, but then what happened was that their old rocket stages, as they moved past the moon, they picked up a gravity assist that threw it out in a solar orbit. Now the later missions actually changed their trajectory a bit so that their spent rocket stages actually hit the moon. That's because they had seismometers stationed on the moon's surface and they wanted to measure the impact. So in this case, I'm not going to do a pure escape burn, but I want to be close enough that if I want to escape, I can. Actually, I might. If I have enough fuel left, I might try and send this thing to the Otho system. That's the next planet out over here. I'm not quite sure how much fuel it would take me to do it, but if I have enough, I'll probably try. Because then I can pick up some more science data. That's the beauty with ion-powered probes. They have a lot of extra fuel in Delta V, so you can get to a lot of different places. It's kind of like sending something to the moon in stock, and then realizing you have enough extra fuel left to swing it by Minmus on the way back. Yep, I'd say one more orbit after this. Oh, one of my ScanSats is still running. Which one is that? Probably the multispectral. No. Oh, it's probably like a water scan or something. Yeah, I'll keep the water scan going, because at some point later on, I might get a mod that lets me do like planetary base stuff. Okay, now that I'm a little past parapsis, I'm going to shut down my engines. So I'll just burn till I run out of electricity at full throttle. Shut her down. Because what happens is if I burn not perfectly at parapsis, my apoapsis is going to shift up and down, and that'll make my transfer less efficient. So I need to shift it down a bit, so let's warp here. And now notice the moon goes more. So I actually think I probably want to do it on this orbit. Now, how well are my solar panels lined up? Perfect, alright. Yep. It's all about timing, right? You gotta get to a certain spot at the exact same time as someone else gets to the same certain spot. And then you'll have better luck. Otherwise, you're going to be just floating around. That's what actually I used to do when I first started playing. If I wanted to get from, say, Kerbin to Duna, I just burn into solar orbit, like escape Kerbin. Then I just float around out there, have an orbit that crossed Duna's orbit, and just float around out there until I eventually ran into it. So I could be spending like 20 years just sitting around in space. Now, once I get to this moon, I'm going to need to burn again to get into orbit, but that shouldn't be as hard because it's a smaller body, so I shouldn't have to do as much work in order to encounter it. If you want to see an escape burn, the best thing would be is that when I post this highlight, you can go back earlier and see how I escaped Gale and got to Gratian to begin with. I had a conventional engine for that, engine stage. Just basically a big hydrogen-oxygen engine like the J2 on the Saturn V that they used to get to the moon. And I used that to push this entire thing out to the encounter here with Gratian. Then I had to use the ions over multiple passes in order to slow down and capture into a circular orbit. I got a bunch of mods on this, so there's some of the science equipment. Like I forgot to look at this actually. I should transmit some of that data. The mystery goo. That's a smaller version of the mystery goo, and then I got the gravioli detector and thermometer, and then a bunch of mod stuff here. I didn't bother putting any of the land equipment like the seismometer or the fluid spectrovariometer or anything like that, because I'm not putting this in an atmosphere. It will get shredded. It's not built. You can kind of tell by looking at the thing that it's not really designed to go in an atmosphere. No heat shield, completely aerodynamic, and it has a gigantic dish here, which is going to mess everything up. Not to mention all the solar panels and radiators and antennas and stuff poking out. Yeah, I'm getting close. I think. Yes, I am. The key is that the farther this gets, the more a velocity change here will affect it. I actually probably only need about another 500 meters per second of extra speed in order to make it from ending up here at 32,000 to 106. Yeah, that's basically it. Next, actually, I want to send Kerbals here. I have a contract. Let's see if I can bring it up. It should be over here somewhere. Yes. I have a contract plant flag on Gratian. Let me move this over. I also got a rendezvous 2 vessels in orbit of Gale, so I'll probably do that too. But the problem is that Kerbal spacecrafts are a lot heavier. So I'm going to need better technology in order to get something out here. Because then I need to have an orbiter, and then I probably need to detach a lander, and all kinds of fancy stuff like that. Because this planet is almost as big as the home planet is. It has 3/4 of Earth's gravity on it. So the problem is more that I'll end up needing a lot of fuel. See if I can just turn a little bit and correct my apoapsis. I think it's getting worse, actually. No, that was right. Yep. I want to try and move this towards this, so I'm going to burn a little bit radial if I can. Let's see what happens if I burn pure radial. Yep. I'm just going to do a correction right now. Because I want to have my apoapsis along the plane of the moon's orbit here. Otherwise, I'll be wasting fuel later on. So once this lines up, I'll just switch back to prograde and then extend my orbit again. Alright, prograde, here we come. Now notice how they're moving out more or less in lockstep. That way, that means that I'll reach my farthest point then along the plane of where that moon is orbiting. Yeah, they get harder as you go along. But I actually can have a contract for the next ones. But what I've already done is I've already done the 2 moons of the home planet, so that's the equivalent of the Mun and Minmus. Then I've done Neven, which has half a G. That's the next one in. And then I had a choice of Gratian or Thalia. Thalia is slightly easier than Gratian to land on, I think, gravity-wise, but it has no atmosphere, which means I need to carry enough fuel to slow down completely and do a powered landing and then speed up. But Gratian here has a thick atmosphere, thick enough that I can land on parachutes. So I only need to pack enough fuel to get back up. I can land just by deorbiting using a gigantic heat shield, and then braking using the air. It's kind of like when you come back to Kerbin from orbit. You don't need to burn your rocket engines to slow yourself back down to 0. All you have to do is burn your rocket engine enough so that you enter the atmosphere. Alright, I'm almost there now. So I might need to overshoot a little bit. Yeah, so here's my closest approach. So I want to burn until this reaches some small number. Right now I'm going to pass within about 90,000 kilometers in a little more than a day. That's what it means. And of course it's gone again. Oh well, let's burn radial again just to correct my angle. It's not like I'm short of fuel here. Yep. So, I'm almost there. 70,000. At some point, it's gonna pick up an encounter because I'll get within the sphere of influence. Okay. Let's see. Let's see how much of a maneuver I need to make. Alright, so if I burn by 400 meters per second here, then I can make an encounter. Yep, I'm gonna do that. Oh, whoops. Because I'm not... Oh, come on. I hate it when the game does that. It changes my orbit when I time warp. Oh well, I'll fix that easily enough. I'll probably need... Now I need 600 meters per second. God dang it. Oh well, I'm gonna go to about 10 minutes short of this node. Now I'm gonna burn it. So this is a maneuver node system. Basically it tells me how much fuel I need to burn and when I need to burn it in order to get where I'm trying to go. So this little icon here tells me where to point my ship. Now, where's Gratian and Geminus? Let's see. Ah, there's the moon over there, then there's the planet. So, Alright, now I should be able to point at the sun better. Yes. So now I just gotta burn along this vector until this number goes to 0. What do you mean increasing hours to? Like how long to apoapsis? That's because I'm burning and changing my orbit, or do you mean to the maneuver node? Up here, this is mission elapsed time, so this is always increasing. Or do you mean the numbers? If you mean the numbers, that was probably because before, when I was changing my apoapsis, I wasn't burning in line with the maneuver node, so I can actually increase if I'm burning away from it. But that was just because of that messed up thing that happened with the time warp. So what I'll see now is my orbit should slowly be changing until it reaches this here. It'll be along this, and then I'll end up running into the moon. Okay, the intersect time, yeah. So what's happening there is that this stuff is static because this is after the maneuver, but essentially that's just happening because my orbit is changing while I'm burning my engine. So if I'm... Yeah. Although what did happen when I time warped to try and get out to my apoapsis, the maneuver node, my orbit instantaneously changed. That was a calculation error by the game. You run into that if you go from like 0 to 100,000 warp right away. Oh well, I'm about halfway there now. So, I'll be able to get all kinds of nice juicy science data from that moon and some nice close-up views once I manage to get there. That's the hard part. The other good thing is that this contract has no time limit here. So, how much science do I have anyway? Wow, 1,500. I had none when I left. So I'm making some progress here. I should be getting close to having an... Aha, yep. See? I'm just touching the sphere of influence now of the moon. So this paraapsis will get lower, because as I burn, I'm essentially going to pass closer to the moon. Which is called Geminis. It's not actually like a moon, but you know what I mean, right? It's the moon of this planet. And it's a big one, too. I do like larger moons, because they usually are more interesting. Now, be a pain to land on, but not that big of an issue. When I send a mission out here, I'll probably send out 2 different landers, one for the moon there and one for the planet. Assuming I have enough technology. What I want to unlock is the really good nuclear engines that come later on in the tech tree, because they're a lot more efficient than your run-of-the-mill chemical rockets. So, yeah, I only need another 190 meters per second to go. And then this big thing out here, this is the orbit I'll have if I just fly past the moon. I'm getting a gravity assist, so it's kind of throwing me out into the boonies. Moons as big as this can actually throw you clear of the planet entirely if you pass too close at the right angle. Okay, I'm a little bit off my maneuver node. Let's just correct that. Alright, there we go. Whoops. Wrong button. Oh well. I didn't move forward that far. And 15 minutes doesn't make a big difference. Although, of course, it fucked up my orbit, so I'm not getting an encounter anymore. Come on. Oh well, this orbit's still moving closer to this, so that's how I know I'm fine. Sometimes this game doesn't show encounters properly. Oh well, let's see. Ah, there we go, yep. Where's my parapsis? 5,000 kilometers. Okay, we're getting close. To... Yep, 5,000 kilometers. Actually, I'm gonna want to be at probably about... I'd say let's try 2,000 kilometers. Because that way I'll be able to go directly into my ScanSat orbit. Now I'm going to dial up the time warp slowly. So now you can see we're approaching the moon. We're still, however, in the planet sphere of influence. We're not quite close. Ah, there we go. Now we're in the planet sphere of influence. Send some data. Now, how much fuel will it take to change my inclination? Right now. Not much. Alright. Whoops. Alright, let's do that first. That way I can go directly into a polar orbit. And yes, I get some science stuff. And lots of money for approaching the moon for the first time. Alright, let's warp through this a little bit. Notice my inclination is slowly going up. And then my eccentricity here is bigger than 1 because I'm on a flyby. Basically, I'm just going to go straight past the moon and end up back somewhere around the planet. Unless I slow down at some point. And I am planning to slow down at some point. Once I get close to my parapsis, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to burn retrograde and try and break into an orbit. I'll probably need about maybe 1,000 meters per second, maybe a little more, in order to slow down enough. Okay, 85 degrees, 86. Getting close. 87. 88, 89, 'Yeah, that's close enough. Now, don't need that right now. So let's focus on the moon for now. Parapsis, 4 hour, 20 minutes. I'm going to go to about 15 minutes before the closest approach. And then I'm going to start burning retrograde in order to reach a stable orbit. Alright, start SAR. Start radar. And then where's Mr. Multispectral? Start that too. Wrong way. I want the solar panels to not be blocked by that dang signals intelligence satellite. Yeah, that's close enough. Notice my eccentricity is going down as I slowly burn into an orbit. And that is one beaten up... Yeah, everything I'm doing is scaled up. So this is basically kind of like a hardcore mode where everything is more technical micromanagement because you need to have a lot more fuel and go a lot farther away. Like, look, like that's the sun there. Like, what the freak? Thing's tiny. Ah, yeah, and that's the other planets. I think that there is probably the home planet Gale. That's probably Icarus. That's Thalia, and I think that's Neven. Gale's probably on the other side of the sun, and then I think that's Taluma over there. And then that's probably one of the gas giants way back in the middle of nowhere. And then I think that's another gas giant. I don't know if that's a star or a planet. Yeah, but... that almost shows a disk. It must be a gas giant then. Am I low enough to get soil moisture data? Nope. Oh well, how's the ScanSat doing? Alright, everything's online anyway. I already got that. I already got the giant antenna data. And I'm passing over the pole. Notice that my orbital speed is slower because it has less gravity. The speeds we're dealing with now, 2,000 meters per second, that's about what you're going to run into in the stock game. Just using a normal Kerbin, I guess. There, your orbital speed is about 2350 meters per second. And then escape velocity is about 3,200. And then for the moon, it's more like 800 meters per second to escape and 500 odd to orbit. Yep. Eccentricities 1.4, so I'm about halfway to closing an orbit. And I'm still approaching the moon, so I have time before I end up hitting Parapsis. And I still have over half a tank left. It's a nice thing about xenons. And my thrust to weight is 0.99, so theoretically, if I had infinite electricity, I could basically land on the planet after I burn a little more fuel. Land on that moon. Now, I can't do it with this because I don't have enough electricity in order to burn. Like, I can't basically burn hard enough for long enough in order to slow down and land. But I'm close. I'm also using the MechJeb mod. That actually makes it a lot easier to do things. Because you can tell it what you want to do and it'll tell you how much to burn and when to do it. Otherwise, you got to do everything manually with maneuver nodes, and that gets sketchy. Like, without MechJeb, which I used to do, I would have to, like, put a node here, add maneuver, and then tell where I'm going to go, and then see what happens, right? So, in order to circularize, I need about 790 meters per second more. So you can do it without the AI computer, so to speak, but it's just slower and less efficient. Man, something really warped the planetary crust over there. I must say, Galileo does a really good job of designing planets. Alright, I'm almost in orbit. When this number drops below 1, well, a little less than 1 because of the approximation the game uses, about 0.99, then I'll end up in orbit. Alright, 1.03, 0.02, 0.01, and 1. So notice now I have an apoapsis and a period. Now the issue is that what'll happen in this is that before I get to apoapsis, I'll leave the sphere of influence and end up orbiting the planet. But once this number gets smaller, notice that my apoapsis is going down. Like now it's way out here somewhere, right? But it's lowering, still lowering. And fairly soon, yeah, I'm almost close in orbit. Yeah, that's how long until I escape. Getting longer and longer. So my apoapsis is probably over here somewhere, but it's gradually lowering down. Yeah, just about closed. Yep, now, there we go. Now I have a closed orbit. So as I burn against the direction I'm moving, I'll slow down. I'll probably get this to about 10,000 kilometers and then do another orbit to slow down. Because what'll happen is that if I'm too far past parapsis as I burn, my parapsis will drop and it'll mess up my orbit. And this is probably for entering orbit. Yep. So I got 816,000 funds for entering orbit. The next step, of course, after scanning all this, is to get in space low. So that's just lower my orbit enough to get more science, but I'm not doing that until after I do the scanning. Okay, when this gets down to about 1.9, I'll probably shut her down and go to another orbit. I have a couple hundred more meters per second to go. How's my electricity? Oh, I basically ran out. Dang it. Alright. That's a good sign that it's time. Alright. What's this for? Oh, biome data. Yep, so now I'm going to circularize my orbit. Yeah, I'm trying to get low enough for all of them to work. This high one you're seeing here, this will work at 5,000 kilometers. But my biome scanner and my low resolution radar only work below at about 2,000 kilometers. So I'm trying to find the highest orbit I can where all three of my science instruments work. Which in this case will be about 2,000 kilometers circular. And I got enough fuel left that after I'm done here, I'll probably tell it to go to another planet somewhere. Let me just see what the positions are like. I'll know where I gotta go. Dang it, I missed the launch window from Gale, but I could send something to Tulumo. I don't think I could send it to here, but I might be able to send something to Nero here. Oh well, I'll take a look. Yeah, I can keep everything in a polar orbit. That's what ScanSat is optimized for. That way it'll eventually cover the entire moon. Alright, I'm almost there. Alright, 2,000 by 2,000. Now, I'm going to dial back my reactor because it's kind of going crazy. Yeah. Now let's get some scan data. Notice how each pass I'm getting a different part of the planet here. Alright, I'll probably have all of it in another few days. I got plenty of time, though. I might have all of it. No, not quite. So this is what the moon looks like under high-resolution radar. This is a height map, basically. Let's see what the biomes are like. Okay, I think I'm done now. Yep, I got 100%. so I can transmit all this. So if I look at the biome, let's see, there's poles, highlands, midlands, lowlands, I guess. Oh well, I'm just gonna burn retrograde until I reach the correct. I want to get low enough now to get the in-space low data. So I'm thinking that'll probably be 500 kilometers or so. Most likely. Alright, I'm getting close to 500 kilometers. The way it's split is that the biomes are for in-space low and in-space high, so I want to get close enough for in-space low. Which I'm guessing is 500 kilometers or so. Just based on the size of the body. It might be lower than that, it might be higher. If I'm not low enough to get it at 500, then I'll just burn down more. Alright. Yeah, there's bodies in the solar system much, much farther out than this. So, let's warp to the periaps here. Haha, in space low. Nice. All this lovely science. Now I want to circularize here so I can get all the different biomes. Whoops, wrong way. Point solar panels at sun for maximum effectiveness, best results, right? There we go. Oh no, eccentricity is a measure of the difference between your apoapse and periapse. So what was happening was that I had the same apoapsis, but I lowered my periapsis. So that made my orbit more eccentric. Now that I'm at periapsis and lowering my apoapsis, now my eccentricity is decreasing again. It really depends on which direction you're burning compared to where you are. Let's see. I'm not there yet. Oh, am I? I don't think I'm at ×4. Now I am. Nice. Alright, where am I now? Let's see. 1.33, okay. Getting close. Oh, this is just like a resource scan or something, I think. Oh well. That's probably... Oh, do you know what that is? That's my water scan. And I also got a mineral scan on the go. It's just some of the mods I got let you do all kinds of weird scanning. That's for if I'm sending Kerbals out here and I want to mine. I can know where to go. So for now, I'll probably just leave this. Alright. I need to stop for now because I'm so far from my parapsis that my parapsis is lowering as I burn to lower my apoaps, so that won't do. I already got that. However, this stuff I can use. Alright, 700. 600. Once I get below 500, I'll shut down. 3, 2, 1, and shit, too early. There we go. Now I'm in an orbit low enough that I should theoretically be able to collect all the data. So, I already got the poles. Now I'm just going to time warp until I get to different biomes here. So, whatever this one is... Midlands, alright. I already got that. Okay. Now this one. Lowlands. There we go. Gravity, multispectral, orbital telescope, and then gravity again. That's... I don't know why Gravity Scanner does that, but it's weird. Alright, the next one will be... Well, this is the last biome, actually, that I haven't gotten yet. It'll be whichever one is up here. Smooth craters. What the... Oh, I already got signals intelligence. And that's my science data. So F5. I'm just going to check. I'm not actually going to make this maneuver yet because I might want to leave this satellite here for a while. But I'm going to see how much fuel it will actually take for me to get to this next gas giant here. Advanced transfer to another planet. Oh, I'm gonna need to... Let's see what it does. Does it even get me there? Or is it bugged? Okay, no, it won't let me do the node. But I'm actually... Okay, that was from before. Yep. So I can't do a transfer directly from this moon to the other planet. I need to go to the... Get back into the planet first and then go, so... Oh well. Back to the Space Center. Now let's check the technology. Alright, has this loaded yet? Now, I wonder if my Kerbal Space Center will be underwater because of shenanigans.